Good morning. It's Coop in the truck. It's Friday, and man, I'm wide awake. I've been up since 3:30. Couldn't sleep, and that's just a part of life, I guess. Who really knows? But man, I'm hyped about this little episode here. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I want to talk to you guys about something that was kind of neat, a reflection that I had this past week, and it's probably what you're thinking, but it's about guns, because that's something that I'm into. I love fly fishing. That'll be coming up soon enough. It's the water's just too cold right now for me to really enjoy. So we'll start up on that in March or something and try to do some fly fishing there. But um, today I want to talk to you about this. You know, keeping the eye on the target, but not being fixated on the target. Um, and I'm not a gun instructor. I've been carrying now since 2000, I think 14 or 15. I think 15 maybe. So about 10 years. Um, and I really just recently, within the last month or two, I guess, I can't really remember. I've had my first uh, actual training, which is kind of scary. I just didn't know there were people out there that did that, which has been really cool. But man, one thing that I learned this past week, and I've been working on over at Osprey, OSS, here in Rome. So we've been working a lot on grip. But this past week, we were talking about red dot and how to utilize that, and it came with some really interesting reflections as I sort of walked away from that time. And I have my gun here. This is a shadow system pistol, and I did want to show you it is clear. So I have the magazine out, and it is clear. So, um, anyways, this is a shadow system. It's an MR 920. It reflects kind of the Glock. It's got a cool handle on it there. It's very much towards my hand. I used to carry an M&P um, shield, and it's just very narrow. It's great for a concealed carry, and I still use it when I need to really conceal, um, when that's super important. But this man, this gun is legit, and I actually use a red dot here. This is a Holosun red dot. It's the SCS solo charging system, which is pretty cool. It's got like a solar piece up top, and it actually charges the battery on this thing. But I was going to show you so mine is actually a green dot in there, which is kind of cool. Um, and I actually have a cover on this so that I can't actually see through to the target, which is pretty important. Um, I'm gonna reload this because I am parked in the middle of the ghetto, um, and I don't want it to be empty, just in case. But anyways, what I've been learning, and what I walked away with this past week that was really cool is Edgar, the instructor and owner of Osprey there, was explaining to me how, when we use these iron sights, which is what I've always had, we have to really like focus and kind of close our eyes and really focus, on what's in front of us, and then what's up ahead. And we we lose the ability to be able to keep perspective of everything else around us. And the benefit of having like a red dot is that you're actually able to keep both eyes open, and it's sort of like holding a pencil in front of your eyes. If I if I do that, which in the camera you can't see my nose if I hold it, but the further away I get, the less of my nose that's obstructed, right? um so what's cool about it is that it is that idea of like holding a pencil in front of an object and you have it far out, and you can actually see everything. You really aren't losing any obstruction. Um, and that allows you to be able to keep focus on everything else that's going on, have both eyes open. Edgar talks about, you present, you got to trust your presentation, practice your presentation, and then fire, at the objected object, right? Um, and so what's the reflection in that is, as I walked away, I was thinking about how in my life, I I go through and treat difficult things that I um, am going through as those like iron sights, where I begin to really fixate and like focus all of my attention, and I got, one eye closed and one eye open, and I'm trying to, find that exact problem, and I'm just working on that, and I'm losing the ability to see and to manage everything else in my life. And um and I think that really, can mess us up, because, or at least it has for me, because when I'm hyper fixating on like that one thing, by the time that I kind of resolve that, if I even can, because I've been hyper focused on that one thing, there's another thing that now needs hyper focus because I've neglected it. I've lost the ability to pay attention to everything else. And so I'm kind of in this new journey of thinking through, life and circumstances that I'm going through, sort of as this red dot or green dot, right? Where, you know, I I know that it is an objective of which I need to work towards, but this whole idea of trust the presentation, work on the presentation, man. As I walked away, and I know I'm just, pulling something, a rabbit out of a hat probably here, but I was like, no, that's my relationship with Jesus. Like, if I work on that relationship and I trust the presentation of that, right? And I have both eyes open, and I'm looking at the problem at hand, but I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm not fixating on it. I'm just seeing it, and I'm trusting the work of the Holy Spirit. I'm trusting the work that I've done with Jesus. Um, then I fire, right? I take just an obedient step, and and fire. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because I think the fixating on the problem, for me at least, is control. It's fear, it's control, um, and it's me trying to, in my own strength and in everything that I have, deal with that problem, and it causes more problems. If I hyper fixate on, okay, I'm not going to spend any money, I'm going to save, 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 I'm going to, cut all of my expenses, like everything around me suffers, because I own and run a business that needs money to run. My family needs money to run. Like, so stewardship is important, but controlling that and holding it so tightly out of fear isn't, right? I hope you're tracking with me. In marriage, focusing on a problem and fixating on it, and it ends up turning your mind into thinking that everything is wrong, right? And that everything needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed right now. And if it's not fixed right now, then it's broken and it's damned and it's going to hell, and I'm going to lose my marriage, right? It causes more problems. First off, I don't think my wife wants to be treated that way. I don't think she wants to be fixated on it in a way that, she's the central issue and I'm just focusing on her. Um, I think, when you bring that green dot method, right? Trusting the presentation, praying for her, praying for our marriage, praying for our finances, praying for our children, then we walk in obedience of trusting the presentation. Like, I'm bringing the Holy Spirit with me. I'm moving in that obedience, and you take action, trusting the Lord that He's totally sovereign, and you trust the presentation. Anyways, man, that's been a really cool reflection for me. And I know I'm pulling something, out of the out of the hat here, but what I love about the Lord and how He works is that He can use anything. He can use anything to draw us closer and to teach us more about Him. I think it's just a willingness of like, okay, Lord, I'm doing this today. Would you show me? Would you reveal something about yourself to me today in what I do? It doesn't matter if you're cleaning toilets, if you're digging irrigation lines, if you're filing a bunch of paperwork, doing sales meetings, being a mom, of just taking care of the family, or a dad taking care of the family, um, going through surgery or treatments or whatever, right? Like, no matter what we're facing, the the most joyous moment and the most suffering moment, the Lord has something in it for us to learn. He can use anything. And so my encouragement is for all of us, firstly, to not fixate on a problem. Unless the Lord has called you to that, don't fixate on a problem. Be aware of the problem. Take responsibility for it. Pray and trust the Lord and move in obedience. If we wait and fixate and we wait till everything is perfect and all the scenarios are just right, we're never going to move, because we're going to be overcome with fear, anxiety. We're going to be afraid of failing. And guess what? We're going to fail. It's what I'm learning. We're going to fail. We're going to fail because that's why we need Jesus. Like, we need Jesus because we are insufficient on our own. And I'm preaching to myself here. I'm telling myself, I need to remember that. Like, the whole reason Jesus came and died is because I was not able to pay for my own brokenness. In and of myself, I am unable, right? So trusting the Lord, trusting His sovereign plan, being diligent to be aware, taking that responsibility of just moving forward, right? Trusting the presentation, not hyper fixating. Y'all, this is Friday, Coop in the truck. And if you enjoy it, subscribe. If not, then dislike it and let me know that I need to stop. Yeah, I hope that this speaks to somebody today. So y'all be blessed. Enjoy your Friday. It's going to be a good weekend. Looking forward to getting some rest myself with my family. Y'all be blessed. Stay real. Keep your eye on the prize.